so many of the narratives that we get about Black women are single narratives, or they come in these archetypes. Melissa Harris Perry, she writes in Sister Citizen about the mammy, the Jezebel, the sapphire, and kind of the outlier or the interloper, which is the strong Black woman. And we're more than that. We're so much more than that. And it's really imperative that we as Black women create our own images and really work so that we can see ourselves in media. And a lot of times when we hear about certain images or certain directors that are portraying these, I guess, kind of roles of Black women that many of us may feel are a bit too fixed and are a bit confined and aren't very flexible, I think is really just because we don't see ourselves in it. And we become so unbelievably frustrated. I think people have really gravitated towards awkward Black girl because that is a narrative we didn't see. We didn't see, the quirky Black girls. And I know women like me kind of gravitate towards the Janelle Monáes and all of that in the world because we're like, wow, we're kind of like that too. It's like, oh, what about this whole Afro-futuristic thing? And it's really kind of always existed. I remember being little and being a little hip hop head by virtue of having older brothers and sisters, two brothers in particular, and native tongue. Seeing them and seeing these, just bright and brilliant Black folks who wore African prints and talked about different countries and had this level of kind of politics and music and understanding, and being too young to really understand that I loved it so much because that's who I was innately. But I think that, for us, it's just so important for us to create images of ourselves. And there's a lot of work to be done in that, in terms of making sure that we have resources that we can give back to communities so that people can make their own media. And one of the things I think, which is something that we have to check ourselves on in terms of privilege, is it's very easy for us to say, oh, start a blog, start a YouTube channel, etc. But you have to understand that there's a huge digital divide. And it's not just a digital divide in this country, it's a digital divide for Black people globally. So as we say that simultaneously, we have to do things and find communities, find ways in which we can talk to people, see what they're interested in, see if this is something that they want to participate in, and then create resources and avenues and develop the communities such that they can get their stories and their vision out there. And also stop, even of ourselves, stop dominating the narratives because there's so many different narratives. A lot of my heroes are the ones you don't hear about, the ones that are on the ground, just making sure that pencils get to school. So a lot of the people that I kind of look to as sheroes will surprise a lot of people. So I have a lot of respect for Condoleezza Rice. I could not be any more opposed to her viewpoints, and I could not be any more, to the left of her extreme rightness. And I identify as a radical progressive. So there are quite a few Black women who are in IR that I don't even agree with in terms of them, being liberal. But she has really paved the way, I think, for us. So she is definitely a shero of mine. In the development world, Semhar, and I'm going to mispronounce her name, so I'm just going to pronounce Semhar. She is the director of Dawn, which is an organization that works with African women throughout the diaspora. She is not only extremely lovely and was really supportive of me when I wrote a piece about the treatment of African immigrants in Israel. She was great, but she just does just amazing and incredible work. And beyond that, there's so many of my contemporaries. My Casi Prima, she's kind of sort of my cousin, but not technically. Who's from Panama, Yvette Modestan. I have a lot of love and respect for her. She created La Red de las Mujeres Afro, so a network of Black women, which is a collective of women throughout Latin America, Black women from every country in Latin America. And they come together and they talk about issues of gender and development. So she has definitely served as, a great mentor to me